Hey everyone, welcome back to JazzedTutorials. I'm doing yet another awesome Back to Basics tutorial. I love doing text effects, as you know, because they're the most coolest thing ever, and they're the easiest thing to make in Photoshop, in my opinion. So I found this really cool text effect I liked. It's a folded text effect online, and the steps to do it took like 2 to 3 hours, and I was like, yeah, no, none of my people would ever sit through that. So I figured out an easier way to do the tutorial similar to that, but with less time and less steps. So let me show you my version of that type of tutorial, and yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it. So we're going to start with obviously you're going to open a canvas. I chose 800 by 600 canvas size, but again, you can use any size you like. White for my background was chosen, but again, if you want to use a different color background, you can go for it. Doesn't really matter. And now we're going to go type our text. So we're going to grab the type tool, and for this you want to use a very, very bold font. So I'm suggesting either using Arial Black or Impact. Those two standard fonts work best with this type of tutorial, but if you have a bolder font like that you have in your computer, you want to use that, go for it. But I would not use a thin font. Those will not really showcase really well. So the bolder the better. Okay, so I'm just going to type in the word jazzed. And your color for your font doesn't really matter. I'm just using gray because it's in my swatch already, so why not? But if you want to use a pink, a blue, a red, a green, whatever, go for it. This is the kind of tutorial where the color don't matter for your font. Alright, so now that you have your text typed, place it where you want it. And we're going to then grab over here our lovely polygon lasso tool. That's right below your marquee tool. And we'll be using the rectangular marquee tool momentarily as well. But that's for another selection in this video. So grab your polygon lasso tool, and you're going to go make sure you have your text layer selected. And we're going to first of all rasterize the type before we do anything, because otherwise it will say, no way, you can't do that. So rasterize your type layer. And I'm going to zoom in just so you can see this and how I'm going to do this properly. So you're going to go over here to your corner, or the edge of your first letter. And we have to do each of these letter by letter, by the way, guys. So it will take you some time, but once you know how to do it properly, it'll be very easy to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a really awesome, like, triangle type. Alright. So I'm going to move that upwards. Now, you want to make sure your triangle is it's kind of precise. If you make a mistake, you can erase the edges of your other layer, but it's not worth it. So just go ahead and try and make it as precise as possible. If you overlap, that's okay. Hit Control J, and it will then duplicate that selection you just made. And upon doing so, you're going to then grab your Control or Command click key, click on the thumbnail, make that lovely, awesome selection active. And you're going to then go down to your text layer, and you're going to delete that selection you made because we don't need that. We already have it. So yes, okay. Let's get rid of that by doing a Command D, Control D. Now back to our folded layer we've just made on top here, and you'll notice how that we have that, and we now have that. So you should see that. Now as you'll notice on mine, even though I was trying to be precise, it still has that little selection here. So we're going to grab our eraser tool, and we're just going to go and erase on that layer the parts that we don't want to have showing. You may not need to do that, I don't know. You might have been more precise than myself, but hey, it happens. Alright, so then make that layer active, and you're going to go ahead and now do the Control T or the Command T and transform it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so I can get more precise with this. And you're going to transform it so that it basically is the same as your fold. Alright, so we got that, and it needs to fit on top just like so. And you can re-edit this if you need to at all towards the end of it. Okay, we have it placed on top. Let me move that slightly over. There we go. Let me zoom back out. Alright, so that's where you should see. Now we're going to add the fold part to this by double clicking that layer, and you're going to add a gradient overlay. Now I'm going to have 3 colors for my gradient. We're going to start off with the black to gray to white. That's the 3 colors you need. We'll click OK for now, but we might have to alter those a bit. Linear should be your style, and your angle is going to be different for each layer because you're going to have to go at the angle of the fold so that it looks good. So we're going to go with maybe like a -50 for this one. I think that looks best. Okay, and as you'll notice, we will have to alter, of course, the gradient because you want to have a bit of the black and a bit of, basically a bit of everything showing. So we're going to have to play with it and see what looks really good with this. Okay, well, alright, looks good. Okay, click OK and you're good to go. And now we're going to add for our last step on this a drop shadow. And this is just to give it more depth. Now I'm going to choose for my distance a size 1 because I think the drop shadow really is overpowering, as you'll notice. So we're going to go with 1 for that. If you feel like you want to drop your opacity, go for it if you like, but I like it the way it is. Looks okay to me. So click OK on that, and that's your first folded text layer. Looks pretty cool. Now, depending on each letter you have, you may have a lot of letters, I don't know, but that's what my first one looks like. Now, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we're going to be using our elliptical marquee tool, rectangle one, and I will explain to you momentarily why we're going to be doing that. Now, if you want to do other letters that don't involve corners like that, that's where the elliptical marquee tool comes in. The same exact steps we just did, but we're only doing it in a rectangle stance. We're not doing it in another corner stance. So we're going to go down to our main text layer yet again, grab that text layer, and with the elliptical marquee tool, we're going to make a rectangle selection of any of our layers. I'm choosing the letter A for that because that's what I want to do, and hit Control J. That will then duplicate that, and again, holding down your controller command, click that, make it active, and delete that from your main layer. We don't need that. It's just something that's not needed right now. And then you can go to Command G. Awesome sauce. Okay. And here's the even easier part about this. All you got to do now is do right click, copy layer style, and you can paste it onto that layer. Of course, you'll have to double click and alter the gradient settings, but other than that, it's that simple. So we're going to double click that. We're going to adjust the gradient. Actually, you know what we didn't do? We didn't rotate that. Guys, rotate it. Alright, so rotate your layer. Yeah. Hold on. We're going to do this the easy way. We're just going to flip it. Oops. Ha ha ha. Vertically flip it, and we're going to move that down over our text. Yes. Now obviously, as you'll notice, I made that extremely big, maybe even too big, but that's okay. And then again, I'm going to have to go to my main layer because for some reason, it just wants to leave all these cool little marks that I don't want on my layer. So, bye-bye. Later, skater. We didn't want you. Alright, let's zoom back out. And I'm going to have to now alter my gradient settings over here. So, gradient overlay, we're going to have to alter that. So, probably maybe we're going to go with an 80 on that. And I'm going to have to alter the black one here because I don't want too much black showing. Alright, something along that line. Now, obviously, as you'll notice, I folded it a lot more than you probably would want to. So, yeah. But those are the 2 steps you're going to take to do this tutorial. Do it for each of your letters. That's how easy it is. In my final outcome, you'll see my entire text, and my A won't be as overpowered as you just see, as I just showed you. I'll make it better, I promise. So thank you all for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing if you do. If you don't subscribe, you should, because I try and post 2 videos a week. One is a beginner's tutorial like this one, and the other is an advanced / regular type of tutorial that everybody does. So Thank you all, and I will see you soon. Bye!